Well, hello everybody. Welcome. Thank you for being here. It's lovely to see so many people in the chat already. We've got an exciting little 30 minutes for you. We've got Ofer, the brains behind the ToneWoodAmp, joining us today to talk a little bit about where they're at with it. Obviously, the Kickstarter campaign has been funded. All of the support that we've received from you guys has been phenomenal. And then we have Mike Dawes joining us, which is going to be pretty special. We've been listening to him play for the last 15 minutes, and yeah, it sounds really, really good. So there's a chat there. If you're over on YouTube, stick any comments, questions in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them live. And to get started, I'm going to bring on Ofer if he's ready. I'm going to bring him in now.
Hey,
Welcome.
Connor.
How you doing?
Very good. Very good. I'm glad
Where
to
are
be
you
here.
at now?
We are actually in Nashville, and we are traveling between songwriters and other artists and showing the new ToneWood amp. Hopefully, we will get to jump to some stores, but that's the
Yeah.
plan. We are here until Friday. Friday, we are back in Phoenix, and actually, we expect to see some new, I think, plastic parts already printed and new boards that hopefully will be ready for production.
Yeah, that's exciting. I mean, a lot of people aren't really aware of all the behind the scenes work that goes on. I'll not forget the moment that the Kickstarter campaign got funded, and they
Yeah.
realized that they were going to make this. And although that was all lovely and exciting, it's almost like the real work starts now. Making this a reality. Is now the challenge, and you're so close.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the
We're
last
counting the
finishing
seconds.
touches. Yeah. So I know you just mentioned you getting new plastic parts. Update everybody. Where's that at? What does that process look like? You mentioned the other day you were sat playing with loads of different types of foams. Give us a little bit of a
Oh,
insight as
wow.
to what the day looks like for Ofer Webman.
We wake up in the morning and we hope that we won't get any bad news for the evening. There's always something with manufacturing that might happen.
Mhm.
So the plastic parts, so tooling is basically was probably completed. We will know at the minute that we get those parts. We received some parts weeks ago, and I think we published it in the update. Those were parts that didn't have any finish. That was only for fit. And we had few comments, so hopefully those were fixed. And now we're waiting for the parts that will be the finished parts for the final product. And on the other side, the same happening with the boards. We went through a few manufacturing or hopefully manufacturing prototypes. We found some issues the last 2 weeks, so now we're basically checking the last revision, and if there's not going to be anything that we don't like, those will be basically our boards for manufacturing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting. I'm very grateful to be one of the very few people to have their hands on a prototype, and I've had the joy of using it for the last 2-3 months. And yeah, people are in for a real treat. It's amazing to see all your hard work come together into
Mhm.
what the ToneWoodAmp2 is. So just to give everyone else an idea of what's going to happen here, we have obviously Mike joining us very soon. But we are looking at every comment that comes through on YouTube, and we can answer them. So let's start. We had Simon Taylor ask, will you be able to use the ToneWoodAmp2 while charging?
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
shortest answer,
Yeah,
but
yeah, no,
yes.
it's spot on.
Yeah.
Of course you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that's the good news is about this new ToneWoodAmp2 is the improved battery. Obviously for the solo you use AA batteries, and AA batteries have some limitations. Um, Now with this new ToneWoodAmp2 you have the ability to charge over USB-C, which means you get a lot better battery life out of it.
Right.
And then
And with this battery, you get many more hours. I mean, we are saying that is 10 hours or more in my testings. Most of the time, the way I play, it was always around 14 hours. So, yeah, not
yeah,
to worry. You can play a lot.
Yeah. And then let's pull up the next one. So Dave asked, I understand the ToneWoodAmp2 uses the same X mounting system. My question is, if one is already installed, will the new model be in the same location? That's a good question.
Right. So the answer is yes. The exciter positioning will be a little bit different, but with all the guitars that we checked until now, we didn't need to make any change, which means I'm referring to change the position of your X bass. So I would say 99.5%, you wouldn't need to do anything. And basically, when you get your ToneWood app, you will have another extra X bass to put in another guitar. Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. One more that I'll add to this before we bring on Mike is I saw a comment from Mark that literally just came through. And we'll get Mike to comment on this as well. You know, when Ofer was coming up with this new model and all the different features in it, and I got my hands on the prototype, one thing that I kept saying to Ofer was like, I can't tell you why, but it just sounds better. And Ofer, being a man of logic, wants to know why, and he wants to figure out what do I mean by better. But yes, I know exactly what you mean. By sometimes you had a bit of a separation between what was the guitar tone and the ToneWoodAmp sound. I do feel like this new unit is a significant improvement, and I think that comes from the quality of the effects on it and the quality of the processing. And I'm sure we'll get more into that. But Mike, if you are ready, I would love to bring you on. Here is Mike Dawes. How you doing?
Hey everybody, it's great to be here. Nice to see you, Connor. Nice to see you, Ofer. Man,
Hey, Mike.
thank you, Ofer, for giving me one of these prototypes. We met a long time ago, but we were hanging out in Phoenix, Arizona. When was it? August. The traditionally worst month to visit Phoenix, Arizona.
Exactly.
In terms of the weather. And had the great opportunity to visit the headquarters, right? The warehouse, the offices, all of that stuff that you guys have down there. And Ofer showed me this, which is attached to the guitar right now. So I've got the prototype stuck to the back. You've probably seen the graphics of it. This one's like an ungraphicked version, you know. Mm-hmm. So it looks like secrets. You know what I mean? It looks like I shouldn't have it, but I do. And Connor's got the other one. I think the other prototype. Exactly. There we go. That's
and
the one.
Yeah, as you can tell, not finished plastics, but the unit is working fantastically.
Exactly. And I took it on tour because this was the first show of a tour, and playing around with it, and just echoing what Connor said, because Connor, I was just listening to you talk on the beginning of the stream, and it definitely does sound better, 100%. The quality of the effects are better all around, but particularly the reverb, and also there's more effects than you had on the previous version, in the sense that you have these kind of series and parallel options and so much more customization, and not just so much more customization, because there's an app that comes with it on the phone, which is what I have here. I'm controlling the ToneWood amp in real time with a phone that I would just have in my house, in my pocket anyway, and from that I can just change effects. Add on some delay maybe, you know, just from touching my smartphone. And the menus that are contained within contain so many more parameters that you can play with. So that's why I think the effects sound noticeably better, is because the way you can stack them, the way you can route them is different, and there's more options. But because it's so much more user-friendly. You know, I mean, I love this and I've used this forever, as you guys know. A lot of you guys know I've been playing with this thing since I met these guys back in 2015 or whenever it was, man. I can't remember when it was, but the interface had a bit of a learning curve. I mean, you can see on the back there's a lot of stuff going on there. Translating that to a smartphone app, which everyone's kind of now inherently used to, has just made the whole thing a joy. And I was saying to Ofer earlier today, it's sort of one less barrier to creativity. You know what I mean? It's you already have your phone on you. You don't need to plug anything in.
Yeah. And because we were just talking about it, and I've just seen another question pop in the chat, how are you finding the battery on this new one?
Personally, so I charged it once, and that was today, because I knew I was doing this. because the charge lasted the whole time. But it definitely lasts longer for sure. But because it's USB-C, it's like I have a USB-C cable on me all the time anyway, and a phone charger. So that's how I charged it, was just with my phone charger. So going back to what I was saying about removing any barriers to creativity, that's what I'm talking about. It's utilizing tools that we have in our pockets, in our bags, in our travel gear anyway. So now we've basically the only thing you really need to carry with you is the ToneWoodAmp2 and maybe a patch cable to plug it in. And everything else it's like it has more features for less real estate because so much of those features are accessible via the app.
Right.
They're accessible on here as well as before, but the thing that really blew my mind is the app. Like, I'm obsessed with it, honestly. That's my favorite thing.
So, would you mind giving us a little song?
Little waltz.
Yeah, go for it. It's all you.
Okay. So just the reverb now. Coming out the sound hole. It's the best reverb in the world, man.
Mike,
It sounds
God
so
bless
nice.
your fingers.
Oh, bless these tea drinking fingers. Man, bless your app and your ToneWoodAmp2. It's that's the thing that as people know, acoustic guitar, it's a whole different world when you add a bit of wetness to it, a bit of reverb, and that's what the ToneWoodAmp does, much better than any other thing that you plug into. And the reason for that is the quality of the chip and the processor. And anyone who's ever played with reverb on an amp knows the difference between bad reverb and good reverb. You know, that horrible wah, 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 kind of springy reverb that every acoustic guitar amp comes with. This ain't that. And that's what makes it special, you know.
Very true.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I was going to just swing on to the chorus. There, you know, touchscreen, quickly turning that on. So cool just being able to touch that and then edit the sound and make the reverb bigger. There's so many different types of reverbs as well, plates, halls, all that kind of stuff. So
and you know, you're a super creative guitarist, got loads of different styles of stuff. Everything still sounds like you, which is great. But how are you using the presets? Because that's kind of, you know, that's a feature that I'm really excited about. Obviously, you had the ability to save on the ToneWoodAmp solo, but this new unit with the app is a whole other ballgame.
That's the thing. Well, I remember when Ofer first told me about that. I mean, when we first met in Phoenix, I was fooling around with sounds, and I remember coming up with a sound that I named Steve's Vibes, after the great Steve Vai, because there's a tremolo on this thing that is actually after the it's after the reverb, which is super interesting, because you end up with, you hear that?
I have some of Mike's settings here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got them listed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get this beautiful kind of odd tremolo thing, which sounded really cool. Because when you do that,
That sounds good. Yeah,
you can hear it
sounds
kind
really
of
good.
in the reverb, you know, which is kind of unusual. So we were talking earlier about this, because there's a chorus and a tremolo and a delay. You know, the delay which has a tap tempo on your phone. So
Yeah,
if I
let's
go,
show people what that looks like. So
Yeah.
I've obviously got the app up here, and I can click on the delay, and you'll see that there's that little tap tempo in the bottom right. So that's what Mike's referring to,
Yeah.
and that gives you the ability to obviously set what you want as a BPM a lot easier.
I mean, it's super awesome, and it's really responsive, you know.
Yeah. So why don't you run us through what you currently have on? You've got a bit of reverb on. You've got
Well-
some chorus.
I went nuts and put everything on.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So I put absolutely everything on. I'm playing, like, because I've just been here all afternoon just playing. In fact, let me double up the tempo. Let me make that 8th note delay, but the same. There we go, with the same kind of thing. So now my delay is going into the tremolo. You hear that?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of like a dub, kind of cool.
Yeah, being able to run the effects in series and parallel is
It's
really
Exactly.
useful.
There's just lots and lots of cool options here. But honestly, the main thing that I really love is just the quality of the reverb. Like, because there's a lot of customization there, and it just sounds really cool. Take the chorus off. It just sounds freaking lovely and inspiring.
This is a great question actually, and it's one for you, Ofer. Is there going to be a library of presets that your endorsed artists can put up?
Yeah. So first we will have some presets that will be part of the app as a basic starting point. And going further along with the app, people will be able to share their presets with their friends. So
That's
while
awesome.
it doesn't exist right now, it's going to be part of the app in the very near future, 100%.
That's
and
awesome.
hopefully I answered, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely did.
That's really cool. That's really cool, because I want to make things and save them and record them and have people do that as well. Like,
Yes.
right now everything's running from this magnetic pickup. So in the past I've used the ToneWoodAmp with the piezo. But on the magnetic pickup, I just think those modulation effects just sound really cool, because it's more like an electric guitar kind of thing, you know. Super cool. I'm
Yeah,
glad
this
you
next
saved my
question-
presets.
This next one's good as well, because we're talking about presets, and in the new ToneWoodAmp2 app, there are kind of two different things you can save. There's the guitar settings and there's the effect presets. So what I can I can show on the app here myself, but
Maybe
if
enlarge
Ofer-
your screen, Connor, a little bit.
Yeah. So if I do this, you're gonna see mostly me. You can see that, you know, this little section here is where the effects presets are, and you can see I've got a couple of different things going on. And then the little hamburger menu, as they call it in America, pulls up where all of the guitar presets are. So you'll see at the top we've got guitar presets, and you can see I've got a couple of presets created, and I can create a new one. So when I go to create a new preset, I can set all my settings for that individual guitar and then save and update, and I can call it something. And let's call this awesome settings. And just to answer your question, yes, you can switch a lot easier using the app. You don't have to use the app, but you can just go, you know, real quickly, I want to switch to that guitar, and we're done. The same with the presets. I can choose this preset. So yeah, it is a lot quicker. And then when it comes to the actual effects themselves, the buttons on the unit, in my opinion, are a lot easier to navigate. And yeah, I'd be curious to think
Seconded.
what Yeah, Mike agrees. You can literally turn on or off the effect using the buttons.
To add something to that, for anyone watching who has weird, disgusting fingernails, like myself and many other fingerstyle acoustic guitar players, these buttons are much more fingernail friendly. It's sometimes these things get in the way and you can miss hit, but this is much easier than the sort of combined wheel button thing from the first version.
Yeah.
And I just want to add, if I may, so really on the app, it's almost unlimited, because I'm saying almost because I don't know where is the limit, but it's unlimited how many you can save songs or sounds or guitar presets. But you can also take those presets and save them on the units itself. The unit has a limit. You can save, I believe, up to 10 effects presets and guitar presets. But if you have some favorites that you want to keep them on the units with no relation to your app, you can definitely do that.
That is a really great point. And I actually didn't know that myself.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that is really good.
That's because at the minute that you have the app in your hand, you don't care about what's happening on the unit itself.
Yeah, it's got to be challenging to design a product that caters for as much.
Can I just add to that about just on the app very quickly while I recall is Ofer and we've been friends for many years, so I've seen the app in previous versions, and so much thought has gone into the interface and the user experience. It's really that good, and I know that sounds like such a cheesy kind of thing to say, but I've seen the process and every little thing is considered.
Right.
Like when I'm playing and I can quickly just like touch my phone, tap something with zero chance of getting it wrong, and then change effects or make the mix louder or make the decay longer or anything. It's almost like it's literally an entire pedal board, but on your phone right there, or on your leg or wherever. And yeah, it's just it's removed as many barriers to creativity as I could possibly imagine, having seen the process, because I know people see the finished result, but they don't know the trial and error that's gone into it, so I just wanted to give that a shout out, because otherwise no one would ever know that the amount of hours you spent with drawings,
and I think
and technical
that comes
specs.
from your ability to like take on the feedback. Like he's just said, he's in Nashville, getting the ToneWoodAmp2 in as many hands as possible, obviously getting feedback, trying to improve it, and the comments that we're getting in this YouTube channel or on these streams on the Kickstarter are all
100%.
really good bits of information that I know from first-hand experience the guys at ToneWoodAmp really care about. So if you've got an opinion or an idea, tell them.
Yeah,
it's true.
They'll make
like
can.
the USB charging was such a huge thing that just came from the people.
Right.
It's a huge thing, and I love how you said he takes on the feedback, and I was like, that means two things, because obviously a lot of thought's gone into the acoustical problems of acoustic guitars, which are sometimes feedback. And there's have you told the guys about the feedback assassin?
I guess not.
No,
I guess not.
Now might be our chance.
Yeah. Feedback assassin, all the notch filters that we have there.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to talk about that? I'll pull up the app here, or do you want to pull up the app, Ofer? What way do you want to do this?
No, I think you can do it if you just increase your screen, because you're familiar with that.
The big thing with acoustic guitars and using something, any amplification, anything, and this is from someone who does a lot of concerts and deals with a lot of different sound systems, is there's a risk of feedback with acoustic instruments. We have microphones inside wooden boxes, right? And every guitar is different, because every guitar is built different. Even the same guitars on a production line, they're from maybe different trees, they have different kind of natural frequencies that peak. So you always have to go into the menus of anything really, including the ToneWoodAmp1, and find how it works best with your guitar, and make that so, and save it. So you like people have been saying in the comments, making different presets for different guitars going back to what I was saying about the user interface, you've basically made all of that into like one insanely easy to use thing called the feedback assassin. So you get feedback, you just touch one thing, and you know what I mean. So all of this level of detail is what I feel. I just really want to give these shout outs because so much goes into that to make it a user friendly experience. You know.
Yeah, so the app and the Feedback Assassin, you can see it on the top section here. This is where you can basically turn this on. And there are a few different levels of it. Obviously, the Feedback Assassin, because it's trying to do some crazy EQ stuff to cut the feedback, it is going to ultimately have an impact on the sound. In my experience, it's not like a negative one, but naturally it has to. That's why there's different levels. So if you're just getting a little bit of feedback, you can turn it on. Just a slight bit, or if you want to leave it, to the full whack, you can. And I've honestly come to think of it, I actually think I've left mine on.
Same.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. It's just sounded fine, so I've just left it. And then
mine's
the notch.
on the second.
Second.
I didn't even know it was on, but it's been on the whole time.
Yeah, normal mode. Yeah.
And then on the EQ stuff, because there was a question on the Kickstarter campaign about notch filters. And perhaps it's worth you diving into this a little bit, Ofer, but the person was basically asking, on the ToneWoodAmp Solo, there were essentially 2 notch filters, and they have an issue where they have like 3 problematic frequencies. Obviously, there's been a lot of improvements over the EQ, so tell us about that and what we can now do.
Yeah, so in terms of notch filters, I wonder, maybe I will try to share my screen here.
I can pull you on.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Yeah, that's better actually.
All right, yeah, great. So we have few ways how we access all the input management. So like Connor showed before, wait, I'm doing something wrong here. Yeah, Connor showed us before, you have the guitar profiles here, and you can choose any guitar profile that you want to use one, or you can create a new guitar profile, and you click on the plus here. And here we have 4 major tools. One is the master gain, which I'm sure everybody familiar from the old one. The other one is the one that they just mentioned, the Feedback Assassin. It's also here, and I might show later that it's also in other places. We also have a low frequency limiter, which help to refine all the low frequencies that come from the unit. So again, any feedbacks that related to low frequencies or low frequencies that you want to remove, you can adjust which low frequencies you want to stop and the amount. But really the last thing is those 6 notch filters. And if I will click here, you have 3 ways how you can dial actually the frequency. You can just move this knob, or you can type a number here. It's fascinating. I'm actually doing it on my computer, and there's no 56 kilohertz. That doesn't exist.
The mouse pointer gave it away, I think.
Right. And the last thing is that is really the most useful tool is that there is a microphone here. Now, I cannot show it here because I'm actually mirroring my phone, but maybe Connor can show later. This is actually, we listen to the frequencies, and you can capture the frequencies in real time, adjust how much you want to cut, and what will be the width. So it's extremely powerful. It's working very, very fast. And instead of 2 notch filters, you have 6. And you can use those in addition to the Feedback Assassin. So you have much more control in terms of the sound and the input for your guitar.
I think that's particularly effective on piezo pickups rather than magnetic sound hole pickups. I mean, when we were hanging up, you went to town on this is a very lively guitar, and you were able to kind of like, take out the stuff. This particular pickup in this particular guitar is just like abnormally lively. Other guitars, it's different,
Correct.
Yeah, that's so cool to see under the hood there with that as well.
Yeah.
So, do you want to give us another song? I heard you playing some Dance in a Burning Room. It sounded lovely. You can play anything.
Well, I was just I was supposed to be in Hanover, Germany tonight, playing a show with Tommy Emmanuel, but unfortunately that whole tour announcement has just been postponed because unfortunately Tommy injured his ribs on a tour, so has to take some time off. So because I miss him, I think I'll just play one of his arrangements.
That sounds good.
Which
That sounds good.
he may have played at the show, maybe not.
And hope he gets well soon.
Yeah, man. Shout out
to you,
to
Mike.
Tommy. Hope he gets well. He will. He's a soldier.
He will.
Little Billy Joel via Tommy Emmanuel. Get well soon, Tommy. We miss you.
Wow.
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 Yeah.
Wow.
All said the same thing. Stereo.
Oh, stereo wows.
Yeah, that was
Oh
excellent.
man,
That was really good.
just this stuff, the high capo stuff with the reverb coming out of the sound hole.
Mm-hmm.
My next album's gonna be even more ambient than my era album. The album I recorded when I got this is super ambient, just lots of space because it was written like this. And I think the
Yeah,
next
Mike and I
one
were
is
saying
gonna
earlier,
be
as
that.
we were doing a test of this whole setup that we've got here, it's pretty hard to like leave the chat and not be in this call because you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
sat here with headphones on listening to the reverb.
We had a sound check earlier, and then we just hung out afterwards, just noodling with,
Yeah,
with,
it's
with
fun.
the app.
It's lovely. Well, thanks so much for,
Awesome.
for joining us. Does anyone else in the chat have any other questions? I've got one or two that we'll answer now, but if you've got anything you want to say, please just put it in the comments and we'll respond to you. So, has there been any consideration to a looper? I don't know if you want to address this now, Ofer. I know you were talking to me before this this stream, but
Yeah, we spoke
Yeah.
about it before. So let me answer because the way the question was phrased is great. Yes, there is a consideration for a looper. And I hope we will be able to talk about it a little bit later this year. Hopefully not too late, but yes, the answer is positive, but there is lots of details that we are looking at right now.
Well, if anyone can do it, it's you guys.
yeah, I believe you definitely can.
Yeah.
So the next one is around the effects. I know that we've talked about saving presets. Do you foresee a potential of being able to upgrade the unit via firmware to add new effects?
So yeah, upgrade. Yes, we can add effects while upgrading the firmware, and it is possible. I don't have any date or what or when, but yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, and I think you know the toolkit already in the ToneWood amp is quite expansive when you talk about. Yeah,
That's what I was going to
you
say,
think of
man.
the same thing?
It's well, because there's 4 effects blocks. You've got chorus, delay, reverb, tremolo. But the way you interact with them is so incredibly varied that, like, you can also get. Is it within the tremolo unit or the chorus unit? You can also get a flanger.
within the
chorus
chorus.
unit. Yeah,
Yeah.
There's
basically
also a
3 different
flanger on there.
effects.
So there's
Yeah.
actually a lot more effects than you would think. Yeah, exactly. Can you make
Yeah.
that bigger, Connor?
Yeah. So if I show you this, you can see that you've got
There you go.
you've got the ability to choose between a vibrato, a chorus, and a flanger. But then also, one of the things I've seen people say is, you've now only got one reverb. No, you don't. If you open the actual reverb up, this is where you can actually choose between the different kinds of reverb.
Yeah, and blend them as well.
Exactly, yeah. You've got a lot more control. You've got the pre-delay, you've got length, and then there's also the advanced settings, which dives into all the nitty-gritty. So
that's the thing. You can add modulation to the reverb separate from the chorus unit in itself. So you could have the chorus set as vibrato and just apply the chorus to the reverb that way. So there aren't really any effects that I can think of. Certainly none that I would actually use or want to use in a sat-at-home being creative context.
I think that's the
only
thing.
Funnily enough, sorry.
I was just going to say, that's the thing, though. If you have an effect in mind that you think would be good to have, put it forward as a suggestion, because if there's anyone that's going to listen, it's Ofer. So
yeah.
Wherever he is.
I think there's a thing that we didn't cover that is already exists with this app, and this is the master section where they can see presets of EQ and compression for the effects for whoever wants to do that. Yeah. So do you want to show this, Connor? Or
yeah, I think honestly the way that you had it before was probably more effective. If you want to pull up yours.
Let me see how I do that again.
I can pull you on, so you should be
using the magic of new
technology.
Yeah, the most recent updates that came from Apple allows me to do that. So let's see, just a second.
Nice.
It's connecting. I see that.
Speaking of connecting, did you guys talk about how it automatically connects to your phone? Like the when you open the app, it automatically connects and all the faders move, and it's very, very cool.
Yeah, it's satisfying, isn't it? It's satisfying. You see it all click into place.
Yeah,
the auto connect Bluetooth function is nice.
No faffing around Bluetooth. It actually works.
Right. So a few more things. So as I believe everybody saw that we have those 4 effects, and you can switch them on and off by taking them up and down, and you can click on each one and get different parameters. There is also the master section. And the master section, one thing that you can do very easy is to mute the whole unit if you don't want anything. But then in the master section, we have presets for EQ and presets for compression. Those are EQ and compression that are for the effects only. So obviously they're not changing your guitar, but they basically allow you to get a different dynamic or different saturation for the effects. And I'm sure people that will start using those things, they will find out that there is another layer of life that you can add to those effects beyond the combination of effects and the quality of the effects, is how you can express those. And those will be very effective and useful tools for everybody. Maybe another thing that I will mention here is that we actually have 2 compressors. This is the compressor for the effects, and there is the compressor for the DI out. And those can work independently. So again, even if you're on stage, and this ToneWoodAmp will have many more tool sets in order to perform with it on stage. So we see it right now, we see this one as an off-stage and on-stage device. And the compressor and the EQ that we didn't mention, and the notch filter, and all those things that we mentioned before, in addition to the compression and the EQ, really going to give you a very powerful toolkit when you go with the ToneWoodAmp on stage.
Wow. I for some reason didn't know about that until just now.
Seriously,
that's
Mike.
new. Yeah.
Come on, Mike.
Well, now
No,
we're gonna
that's
plug
excellent.
it into a PA. Well, Connor, you've used it live.
Yeah. I used it live on Sunday, and I don't know if other people in the chat here have used the solo live. It's a great tool, but it wasn't its primary intention. This ToneWoodAmp2 actually has a lot of things that are really, really nice to have when you're plugged in. You've got a lot more control over the ability to turn on and off effects, easier than you did in the previous one. The new master out section with the blend is really, really nice. There is some new cool things coming to it for sure.
That was the thing that was standing in the way of using the first one live a lot, was that you'd still need to creatively route yourself through things like compression and more advanced EQ that was easier to control and things like that. So that's amazing. That's
Ofer, Ollie's has asked, can we package Mike Dawes up and send him with his new unit? He'll pay for postage and packaging.
We are working on this, but we couldn't find a package that size, so it's a bit of an issue right now.
Yeah, I have to bring it. Each Mike Dawes comes with a cuddly panda as well. We can't be separated, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So, I guess to conclude, the Kickstarter is still live. It's live for, 3 more days?
Yeah, I believe so.
71 hours. 71
Yeah.
hours. So, if you want the ToneWoodAmp2, there is actually no better time to get it or to pledge Kickstarter than now.
Get it.
Right now, I think it's up for, what's the current tier pricing, Ofer?
And right now on Kickstarter, I believe it's 225 instead of 300. Yeah.
Which works out to be £174 in England for the UK folk. So it's a excellent price. And I suspect, I don't know how much you can give away, Ofer, but what do you think the pricing's going to be when it's out?
That will be the price. 300 or
300.
In American it's called 299, but
yeah.
Well, that's I really appreciate you guys doing Kickstarter again, because that's how you started,
Yeah,
that's true.
Everything's
true.
there, and having visited the operation that they have going in Arizona, it's really heartwarming to see people pledging again for the next one, because you have those fixed costs starting up, the manufacturing of all new components, all new parts and things like that. And I know exactly where they're going to live. I remember in the warehouse, everything's delegated into the little areas. It's so awesome. So awesome. Excited to see all the ToneWoodAmp2s being made there.
Yeah, no, it's a really exciting time, and it's great to watch the hard work come together. So thank you for everybody who's joined us today in the chat. I don't think we've missed any questions, but if we have, you can rest assured that we'll get back to you after this.
Yes.
How do you feel about playing us out, Mike?
Go on then. Let's do the mayor as you requested.
A bit of chorus.
A bit of mayor. Yeah. Let's. Should we just go crazy with the effects?
Go crazy with it.
One? Let's go big then. We'll just do a little thing here. So this might be the first time I've ever played anything and just been in standard tuning, which is nice.
Yeah, you actually had a question about tunings. What tuning do you use for somebody that I used to know?
Oh, so it's dadgad, but with a low C. So the bottom string is down a step again. So you could call it step dadgad, if you wanted to.
I like it.
And that's because there needed to be it's in D minor, but there needed to be an extra low C. So, all right, everyone's going to work with me now, including Ofer and Connor, to dial in a nice, fun sound. So we got the reverb. But let's just we're going to go big. Should we go crazy with the tremolo as well? I mean, why not? I guess.
Why not?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that Mike's settings look something like this.
It's just everything. Oh, come on! I'm not that much of a
Not that crazy.
We've got a bit of
maybe try to put the compressor this time.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what. Actually, see the delay, because the delay's going before the tremolo as well. The delay repeats have a nice little whoop,
That's true.
which is gonna...
Whatever you do here, you should save it as a preset and call it like, I don't know, ToneWoodAmp kick stream.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I'm gonna remove the tremolo.
Okay.
Because now I'm actually, should we go
Oh, that sounds
flange?
nice.
Should we go flange?
That sounds nice.
Add a lovely bit of flange. I'm just gonna slow down the rate a bit. So we're on flange on the chorus unit, and we're currently on rate 29, and I'm gonna put the depth. I'm actually gonna do something crazy, Connor, which is be subtle. So we're gonna turn the depth down
That's
to
insane.
only 50%, and the delay itself, because I'm feeding it a magnetic pickup. That's a very pure, clean magnetic pickup sound. That's about the tempo of slow dancing, but I think there's too many repeats, so I'm going to put the repeats down to about 25. Yeah, about 25. So we have just a little impact on the hits.
Nice. I like it.
So we've got eighth notes delay with a very slow tap, and that should sound something like... Oh yeah. There we go. Everything on the kitchen sink. And something fun about that, because I was just giving you effects from the magnetic pickup, is when we got into there was nothing on that. You know what I mean? So that I had a nice delay on the strings, but not on the hits. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, it sounded great.
All right, we'll save that sound and package it up then.
Yeah, save
it
it
a preset.
and let's send it over to Ofer,
Yeah,
and then
will
we
do.
can release that the stream
Awesome.
setup.
Can you
Well,
name
thank
it?
you so much, everyone.
Okay.
Oh, can we name it? Okay. Ofer?
Anyone who'd like to name the preset can comment and name the preset. But if no one types anything in the next 5 seconds, I'm calling it Mikey McMikeface.
Slow dancing in a burning live stream.
There we go. Mikey McMikeface it is.
Lovely.
I'll send that over to Ofer for renaming and editing.
Well, there we go. Kickstarter is still live. Yeah, Mikey McMikeface. You've had someone comment that, so it must be a popular name.
There you go.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Like I say, the Kickstarter is live for another 71 hours. So if you want to jump on board, now's a great time. Units are expecting to ship in December, but Ofer and the rest of the ToneWoodAmp team will keep you in the loop. Is there anything you want to add, Ofer?
Yes, I do. Thank you,
Go.
guys. I mean, thank you everybody on Kickstarter, but also thank you, Kono and Mike. I mean, awesome job. And you guys, both of you were really instrumental in giving us feedback before. So, whatever people see right now, it didn't come only from our heads. It came from Mike's head and from Kono. And thanks a lot. Yeah, means a lot to us.
Oh man,
Yeah.
It's been so great seeing everything you guys have been doing over the years, and yeah, really excited to have this out in the world with the proper faceplate,
Yes.
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
that. Super exciting.
Fantastic.
And yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
bringing it on the road from now until the end of time, so it's always in the gig bag now. So hotel room writing will commence with the ToneWoodAmp2.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. Any questions we didn't cover on the stream, we will reach out to you. Don't worry. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.